Hello, hello. Welcome to With Respect, the show where martial artists talk about stuff they wouldn't normally mention in the dojang for fear of being seen as disrespectful. I have my friend Jay here, and we are actively drinking while we record this.
My idea, completely. I'm a bad influence.
I will not name it, but this alcohol has been expensed by a national governing body of martial arts.
I bought this one in Australia.
Yes, so we got, like, proper booze here. And we decided that the theme of this video was going to be injuries.
I am first aid trained. I will point that out before we start.
Am
Yeah.
I am also first aid trained, although I think it's expired. I still know how to do it.
I think I've got 3 certificates going right now.
Nice one.
Yeah, just because of my work. So.
Well, which work is this? Do you get a new one done by every employer?
Yeah, I had 3 different jobs in the space of a year, and every single one wanted a different company to give me a first aid certificate.
And they just didn't trust you at all.
Like, I don't know why they didn't, like, yeah, it was such a pain. So I'd go to these days, spend 6 hours learning first aid. I already know.
Nice. So we know
yes.
exactly how to prevent this sort of stuff.
And to fix stuff.
Exactly. So
What we want.
So I get everyone to do a little intro. So give us your background in martial arts.
Yep. So my name is Jay. I've been fighting now for 21 years. I started when I was like 7. I've got 2 black belts in karate and in kickboxing. I got my black belt in karate when I was 12 and in kickboxing when I was 24, 25 I want to say.
Okay.
So,
Did you train them simultaneously for a while?
No. So I trained karate from 7 till I was 18, 19. Didn't train at anything at all until I was like COVID started. So like I must have been like 23, 24. Mm-hmm. And then took up kickboxing and got my black belt in the first year.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah, it was pretty fast. Like, it was rough. Yeah, we were debating whether... It was one of those we were debating whether or not he was going to let me do it. But a lot of the skills I learned in karate transferred over very well into kickboxing.
People like to act like their martial arts special and the best one. Most arts have the same techniques,
exactly
different
the same.
names.
Like, so my karate was Kenyukai. My kickboxing was Shotokan. So if you know anything, people will know about martial arts on here.
Shotokan was exclusively a karate thing.
No, so you can get Shotokan in kickboxing as well, like the style. All it is just how your foot sits when you throw a kick. That's all it is. Like,
elaborate.
So in like Kenyukai, when we were learning how to kick, a lot of it was like we'd twist with our hips more than our feet. So if we were kicking, we'd move our hips first and our foot would kind of follow. We'd be on the ball of our foot so we could pivot around it as we go. I realise I keep moving this mic away. But we'd be on the ball of our feet so that when we do a kick, we'd pivot around. Shotokan, from my understanding of it, was you would place your foot first, flat, and usually at an angle so your hips would just follow through. So that was the main difference that I found between the two.
I actually kind of understand what you mean.
Yeah.
I've seen patterns for karate.
Yeah, in like a lot of it, it's like you're on the ball of your feet. Like, it's why I have really good calves. Because for those 12 years, I was on balls of my feet at all times.
Martial artists have
Great
the
calves.
hats for... Honestly, like weightlifters talk about the chicken leg just like because you're bouncing constantly.
Just do martial arts. If you want good calves, take up kickboxing, like, or any martial art really that has you on your toes.
I have always had enormous calves. People think that like... I've had it both ways. I've had people look at my legs and assume that I must be fat and then they realise it's all muscle. And I've also had people who, they look at me like dressed in civilian clothes and then my friend Danny did the best one. He went, I have just realised how thick your thighs are. Crush me.
Yeah, like, they are. Yeah, if you want to develop good legs, take up martial arts. Or take up dance.
Also.
Yeah, I will say that some of the most dangerous fighters I've ever been against, ballet dancers. Terrifying. The flexibility they've got and the control of their legs. Insane. Going up against ballet dancer in a competition, don't do that. Run. You've lost.
I mean, I know that my repeat rival Stacey does like, it's not swing dancing, ballroom dancing?
Like ballroom, yeah.
Yeah, that one. She does ballroom. I have no idea if that's the same as ballet in any way.
No, I do ballroom, so yeah, it's very
Not the
different.
same.
No,
Okay.
not the same at all.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so 2 martial arts.
2 martial arts.
Karate,
Yeah,
kickboxing.
first and black belt in both of them.
What's the worst injury for each?
Oh, okay. So I've got the worst injury in karate was on someone else that I inflicted on someone, and the worst in kickboxing was inflicted on me. So the worst one that I ever did to someone else was I fractured their rib. So I fractured 3 ribs. This was a fully grown adult. I think he was in his like late 30s. I was 15, maybe that. And the karate group I was at, we had we used to like ground and pound each other at the start every now and then. And we just like do like MMA training to like warm us up, like a bit of groundwork, so that, you know, when you go out on the street, if you're in a situation, you know how to get out of it. But during this time, I'd like got this guy into a lock and then jammed my heel into his rib cage.
Oh my
At a
God.
decent amount of force as well. I'll put that by mistake. But on that day as well, it was my grading.
So you were just like anxious energy.
Yeah,
you
I was anxious
put
energy,
it all
yeah.
into this guy.
But all into this guy at the start, and he was like, "Oh, that really hurt." And I was like, "Sorry about that."
Was
you
he
know.
also grading?
Yeah. So I was going for my brown belt, I think, and he was going for, I think he's green, right? So obviously this is just the warm up stuff. We're just getting ready for the day, getting loose. The grading comes around, and obviously you have your spar, like you're fighting at the end. You know, you're sparring, and I told you this earlier. When we were sparring with each other, we didn't wear any gear.
Which I think is insane.
It's
but go
insane
on.
looking back at it, because I did this for years. I didn't wear mouth guards. The first time I wore a mouth guard was in a competition.
This is why your teeth are jacked.
Yeah, my teeth are jacked. I'll get into all of this later on. Like, these are my worst injuries actually going on at the moment. But, yeah, so we didn't wear mouth guards. We didn't wear headgear. We didn't wear shin pads, elbow pads, anything like that. We literally just wore the mitts, which were about that much foam. If that. They were tiny. Like, I still got them.
Groin guard?
No.
I've been forced to wear a groin guard
not
once. I'd rather take the hit.
Yeah, not even groin guards. Like, we just didn't wear anything other than the mitts. But I still remember it really clear. He'd gone for like almost like a hook, weirdly, which in karate, you know, you don't hook all too often. It was like a full like body hook going for me. But I ducked under his arm,
Nice.
went underneath, and jabbed up into his ribs.
Oh.
And literally just hit his floating ribs. It was a gorgeous hit, right? To this day, one of my better punches. But I remember just landing it, and I thought, that was a bit of a hard hit I just landed. Obviously, earlier in the day, I've stuck my heel in his rib cage as well.
At any point, did you feel a crunch?
No, but I hit him there, and he went down. And we didn't see him again for a good 4 weeks. So we were there like, oh, you scared him off. You know, he's buggered off somewhere. He comes back 4 weeks later and is there like, James, you fractured my ribs.
He messaged no one.
He messaged no one. Like,
he wanted the shock
the
value.
thing is, this is back in the day when you didn't have WhatsApp or Facebook. You had
didn't
like
live
MSN.
in the 80s. What are you talking
I know,
about?
yeah. It felt like this is like early 2000s, like 2010s. So yeah, it wasn't like there was tons of communication. I didn't have his bloody phone number. You know, I was a kid. So yeah, he showed, because his son kept on coming as well. So his son didn't tell us either.
Son was sworn to
Son
secrecy.
was sworn to secrecy. I think he wanted to just shock me with this information when he
I
comes
would
back.
want that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he came back and was like, I was like, oh my God, where have you been? Like, I've not seen you for so long. He's like, you fractured my ribs. I've been on bed rest. So yeah, that's the worst thing I've done to someone.
I feel like I have caused injuries. I've sent people to medics so many times, I couldn't even tell you. The only one that I know was like a real problem for the person was at my first freestyle competition. So she did have some background in Taekwondo, but she mainly did MMA. And it was so funny because this whole fight with this girl, I think I have a video of the fight somewhere on my channel already. It was like a short video. But she would always come in with like the most telegraphed axe kick, but while screaming. And I was just in full stun mode. Like, because I am not a sort of person who needs to like grunt to fight. I just like fight basically silently unless I'm exhausted. But she was just there like, ah. And she gave me a concussion, fair. But I also gave her a hairline fracture.
Oh.
So, like, I found that out via message, like, a week later, so I did not get the impact, and I wish I had that impact.
Like, yeah, to not see someone for 4 weeks, especially as a kid, you know, and at this point, I'd never really injured someone before. As I said, the style of fighting we did was, like, very little contact, hence no guards, things like that. So, yeah. But yeah, so for them to come back and be like, yeah, you fractured my ribs, I was like, nice. Great.
Thank you.
That's given me such a good confidence boost.
And when you were hurt?
Yes, when I was hurt, it was my black belt grading for my kickboxing. As I said, I'd done kickboxing for like a year and a half, thereabouts. At this
Speed
point.
ran the whole art.
Speed ran kickboxing. So I was training with world champions. We had connections to the Olympic team in Taekwondo as well.
Nice.
So we had some really good fighters.
I should do a vlog about my time with the Olympic trials.
They were like some insane fighters. The first time I ever showed up, the sensei that I was training with busted my nose open. So he was coming back from an injury. I won't go into too much detail about it. But this isn't the story, by the way. He basically put gloves on and was there like, who's fighting me? And no one at this club said yeah to him. And I should have been there like, you know what? No one's saying yeah. This is a sign not to fight this fucker.
But you had to take the challenge.
But I was there like, it's my first day here. I'm not going to be a pussy. I'm going to fucking...
He slammed his dick on the table.
Yeah, but I'm there like, I'm putting my dick on the bench
and
here.
he stomped on it.
Bro, like, I think that fight lasted 30 seconds. Honestly, I remember him saying, do you want to do light con K1 or something like K2, something like that. I can't remember all the technical things. Because they're like, light con sounds fun. What is it? It's like, it's continuous fighting, light contact. This motherfucker doesn't know what light is. Does not understand the concept of light contact. All I remember is like him running away from me a little bit, like backing up. And as I went towards him, he's then sprung forward into a blitz.
Oh, I love that move.
Smashed my face.
Oh, I love it.
But has then followed up with a kick to my gut. So he's busted my nose open and then sent me to the floor. And he was just there like, that's rough, that, buddy.
Sucks for you.
Yeah, sucks for you.
I will tell you the thing about light contact, right? Light contact means you're not trying to kill the person. Ideally,
you're trying to hurt them.
You're not trying to like maim anybody. But the problem is, when two people who are actually good fighters, which I know you are, you train in other things, so you must have been, you're speedrunning the art.
Bear in mind, I'd not been in any fights for, like, in a dojo for a good 5-6 years.
Okay, less
it's been
ideal,
a long time.
But it doesn't always leave you.
Yeah.
But when you have two fighters who are experienced and they're told to go light, people will start light. And then one person sees a really good shot and they get it, and it's like an actually like amazing moment where it was clean, it hit like just hard enough. But the other person goes, oh, I actually have to defend myself now. And then you just stack that until you're getting screamed at to calm the fuck down.
Well, to be fair, he kept it like under wraps. Like once he like realised I was bleeding everywhere, he was there like, I'm so sorry, mate. Like, I'll buy you a drink after this. Well, you know. And we were good friends out of it, if anything. I feel like it was a
bond through hardship.
Yeah, we bonded through it. Like, he became a really good friend over like the following years. He was my personal trainer for a little bit. Whenever I'm in the UK, I do typically go and train with him for at least a month and just brush up on my kickboxing.
Would he want you to name drop the club?
I don't know, because he has just moved clubs. I think he's opened up a new one. So
ask him, and I'll put something in the description if he wants.
I'll check it over with him. I'll see what he says. So the actual worst injury that I had at that club was for my black belt grading. If you've not done your black belt yet, good luck. They're very long.
It's like a day event.
Yeah, it's like a day event. So I had work after all of this. Just keep that in mind. And I'd set 6 hours aside for my grading in the morning. It ended up being about 4 hours long, 3-4 hours long, which wasn't too bad. But the final thing we did after all day of doing sprints, doing technique work, doing light sparring, is we finished off with a 3 versus 1 fight. And it was me versus 2 brown belts trying to get their next brown belt. There were like 2 brown belts you had to get before you black.
For the audience, explain the ranking system.
I could not tell you the ranking system for kickboxing. Could not tell you it because I didn't do it.
Made up.
Made up. It's just...
Taekwondo has a rationale with, like, philosophy behind it.
Yeah.
Other clubs, I don't understand.
Kickboxing, I know there's a rationale behind it. I know it was like white, red, yellow, green, blue, the purple, brown, black. But I think there was you had like stripes, like with brown belt, you had like white stripes as well. So they would go for like their next stripe. I was going for my black belt. So, and then I had one of my senseis as well.
Of course.
So in this fight was me versus a sensei and 2 guys trying to prove themselves as well, who were both older than me and had more experience fighting than I did. Because once again, I've been there for a year and a half.
And you kind of don't want the guy who's rushed it.
Yeah, you kind of don't want the guy that's been there for a year and a half to get the black belt before you do. It feels like a bit of a shit take.
We can be nice about it, but we don't want it.
Yeah, we can be nice about it, but they didn't want it. But yeah, I remember that fight starting, and before it happened, the sensei said, because there were kids in this the grading as well. You know, it's obviously you get a lot of people grading at the same time. It saves
You love
money.
being partnered with a 6-year-old.
Oh man, I wish there was a 6-year-old in that fight. God damn, I would have won. But instead, I got those bastards. No, so so before I started, he went over to all the parents and the kids and was like, just so you're all aware, this next fight is not going to be a nice fight. It's not going to be a good fight. If you're sensitive to violence, obviously, like this martial arts class, but you don't want to see. I don't like seeing violence, despite being a fighter. He gave a disclaimer being like, if you're not comfortable with violence, I would recommend you leave the room for the next 5 minutes.
I would be edging closer to the man.
It was, I'll tell you what, it was a rough fight. So from the moment he said go, all I remember is my sensei coming out of I was like here, and then 3 guys stationed in front of me, and he went straight in with a Superman punch out of as soon as he said go. I thought we were gonna, pussyfoot around a tiny bit and warm ourselves. No.
You only get one chance for a shot. He went
straight in with a Superman punch, and it fractured a tooth up here.
Oh.
That was the first punch I got. Following that, I then had 3 guys beating the shit out of me. Because if you ever know, I'll put this out, I'll go into this later on, but how to fight more than one person at the same time as well. He knew how to make it so that he was in front of me, and then there was a guy on either side of me.
Yeah, you can't.
And in that situation, you can't defend anything. Because if you defend one guy in front of you, you've still got 2 guys on the side of you beating the shit out of you.
You can kind of just parry and dodge.
Even that becomes an issue. So for the most part, it was just 2 minutes of me getting the shit kicked out of me.
I do always look for an opportunity for a split kick. It never works.
It was not going to come. They would literally there was a point where I was just, my hands were up like that. I was just biting down on a guard, and I saw a small slip that I could make, and slipped out of this corner that they pushed me into. So I was like, I can't leave the mat. I'm not, I'll take the hit, but I'm not leaving the mat. Slip out of this. And all I remember is I've turned around, and as I've turned, I've just been hit in the back of the head. And it was a hard punch to the back of the head. Now, we trained with 16-ounce gloves, so pretty thick gloves.
Those are massive gloves.
Yeah, massive gloves.
I don't own gloves that big.
Yeah, they were I think it was 16 or 12 ounce, I can't remember. They were big gloves, though, so it had a decent amount of padding, but it also rocked me something else. But all I felt is this hit on the back of the head, and then a kick connect into my rib cage, and I've collapsed onto the floor. Now, this is where the sensei who was running the grading realised he didn't turn the fucking timer on. It was meant to be a 2-minute match.
How long was it?
Fuck knows how long that match was.
Like 5 minutes?
I think I just got the shit kicked out of me for about 3 minutes.
Oh my god.
But it was a case of that. The idea of that match wasn't for me to win. It was how much can you get beaten up and still take and still stand.
Interesting interpretation.
That's what it was. There's no way that I could have been a great fighter. The people I were against were also great fighters. And by just law of average, 3 versus 1, the 1 will lose.
See, maybe this is a difference between taekwondo and kickboxing, or maybe this is a club difference or whatever. But the way we've always described grading fighting is you're not trying to kill each other, because no one wants that insurance claim on a formal event. But you're not trying to kill each other, but you're supposed to be pressing your partner while still allowing them the opportunity to demonstrate the scope of their ability.
No, this was just a beatdown. This was straight up beatdown. I did get a few good shots in here and there, I will admit. I got a few good hits on the face and the bodies, things like that, but yeah, for the most part, I was just getting beaten up.
It doesn't mean you don't go hell for leather a little bit.
Yeah, I went hell for leather on those guys, but they went hell for leather on me at the same time.
Yeah.
As soon as he landed that Superman punch, I clicked on. Like, I was instantly like, oh, I'm actually fighting. Because bearing in mind, up to this point, we've had like a few sparring sessions in the grading where it's like, oh, I'm against one of these guys. And it's been like, a nice casual, little bit of work, as you said. It's more sort of like, push the person, give them a chance to show their skills. Things like
you get an idea of their favourite moves.
Yeah, it's warm you up, but show your moves, things like that. But yeah, that fight was it was a real fight. I think that was the closest real fight I've had in a dojo.
I don't know, okay, so my second dan grading, which was my latest grading at this time, was I was ill and I had an injured hamstring simultaneously.
Always fun.
I was dying and it was a cold room, which for illness with your lungs makes it so much worse. But everyone knew that, and the grading actually wasn't as hard. My practice before the grading was more intensive than what we were asked to do in the grading. But I had no one to spar with during the practice. But when we did the sparring, I was paired with a woman at first, but I'm a very competitive, very achieved fighter. I'm going to wave at the shelf for evidence. But I have a lot of competition experience. In a heavyweight division, I regularly win. I only have one adult competition where I didn't get a medal, and I've competed at least once a month for most of it. There was 6 weeks where I competed consecutively. I always won something, usually a gold. That's the level I'm talking about. Some people just train for funsies, and they just want to be able to go, I have been consistent in my efforts, I have met the standard, and now I am moving on. So after this one fight with a woman here, I started getting paired with the blokes, and then I started getting paired with the blokes who were 2 belts higher than me, who were bigger than me. And then for my first dan grading, this was where this happened. For my first dan grading, it was a case of this dude was my equal when we were trying, and then I was better than him when I was really going for it. But then he just got one shot to me where it was the cleanest reverse turning kick, which is a straight leg technique that with the heel coming not just sideways, but coming diagonal upwards, and it burst my lip. I thought my jaw was busted. It wasn't, but almost. And I was bruised and numb for days. So it sounds like you left this worse off.
Yeah, I left with... So I had one fractured tooth that I was sure about, and I'm thinking... I now have... So since that fight, I've had 3 teeth removed. This one was fractured immediately. I instantly had to go to a dentist the week after, get the tooth pulled out. It compacted one of my wisdom teeth.
Oh, no.
That got pulled out last year.
It pushed the wisdom tooth, further in?
So it, I don't know what happened. So compacted means, the root is broken, but it's broken inside of itself. So I don't know how he, but I imagine that was from the same Superman punch, because it was a good punch. I'll give him that.
There's always respect there.
Yeah, there was good respect. Don't get me wrong, at the end of the fight, we all turned around and I was we all shook hands and it was a good vibe. But yeah, so I'm now having issues with a lower tooth down here that was fractured, and one up here as well. I think we're all weakened through years of not wearing mouth guards as well.
Which is stupid. I don't know why you did that.
Yeah. Listen, if you go to a club and they tell you not to wear mouth guards or not to bring them, and make sure you're not wearing them, go to different clubs. Your teeth are too important. It's cost me a fortune to fix my teeth now.
Yeah, how much did you say? It was $700?
Yeah, so when I was in Mexico, I was looking at getting root canals and getting my teeth fixed, and it was $1,500 to get my teeth done. Just these 2 that are currently broken. Luckily in the UK we have the NHS. Big ups NHS.
Despite all the underfunding,
yeah, despite the underfunding, you guys are doing great with my teeth. I'm slowly getting to where I need to be with them, but Yeah, wear mouth guards, guys. Like, get good mouth guards. That was my other mistake. It's my first mouth guard I got was like a £5 mouth guard from Sports Direct.
Oh no!
Don't get them. Go to a dentist, get a proper mouth guard done.
I've never done that intense, although I would like to, but my teeth have always like been so volatile, it's not worth it.
Well, I think like when you're growing up,
gel one.
Yeah, get a gel one that you can change every now and then. But once you're an adult, once you're 18, 19 years old, your teeth have come through, and they're the way you want them to be. Invest in a good mouth guard.
Yeah.
It'll
Now I have all my
you-
wisdom teeth out, actually. Maybe. Shall we refill?
Yeah, let's refill.
I've been drinking more than you, definitely.
Right, I'm on gin. You're on sours.
I mean, sours isn't weak.
It's
is it?
14%.
It's fine. It's like... but I've had my first one now, so I can go, like, stronger dilution.
I'm still taking my time with this one.
I like how it makes it just a little green.
It's a little green.
Just a little green. Can you hand me the lemonade?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're back.
You refilled.
Wow. Yeah, no, I'm still going through it.
Drink your drink,
No,
man.
it's strong.
The comments gonna be judging me.
Now, you didn't see how much gin I poured in that thing.
Okay.
I've got a plane to catch in the morning.
It's
I'm
fine.
gonna be drunk on the plane still.
We've had your formal occasion injuries.
Yes.
Do we want to move on to comps next? We
Yeah.
can build up.
So weirdly is, I have been a competition fighter. However, I've only been in 3. I've done 3 competition fights, and you were there for one of them actually.
I was.
Yeah.
I dragged you to one of them. That day as well, I slept horribly.
Bro.
You were out for... It was so hot. It was in Birmingham, and we were like... You were in a sleeping bag because it was the only
I was
room
on
we
the
could
floor.
find.
I was on the floor in a sleeping
I
bag.
think that was to your benefit because it was the only room we could find, right? And me and my boyfriend at the time were in the bed under the thickest quilt in the world.
It looked like a comfy bed though.
It was very comfy, but like I nearly died. I woke up in the middle of the night, sweating, gasping, like panic attack. I was so hot, and then I just had to go sit on the bathroom floor with a towel for hours. So I was tired that day. But go on.
Yeah, so I've only ever been in 3 competition fights. The first one was when I was 12 years old. The second one when I was 17. And then my latest one was when we fought, and that was when I was 25.
That sounds about right.
When was it? It was like 2-3 years ago.
It was about.
So I'd been about 25 by now.
It was the ITC National Championships.
Yeah. I went as a heavyweight black belt. Great times.
And you fought my friend Francis and possibly another one of my friends, but we can never remember.
As I said, I only have 2 black belts. Neither of them are in Taekwondo, which is what this event was.
Yes. I sent him the rules in advance.
Yeah, I've had some experience with Taekwondo, don't get me wrong, but I don't have a belt in it at all. Not even a white belt.
I had to get you a dobok.
Yeah, so we bribed my way in to buy a dobok and a black belt off one of the senseis that was running the event, who will remain unnamed. If you get in touch, I still owe you money. I will send it to you if you get in touch. But I don't have your details. So we bribed my way in, and yeah, I came 3rd place in that. Like 3rd place. And I'd just been away on ships for 6-7 months.
So you had sea legs.
I had sea legs. I had no training for 7 months. I had we did like a crash course.
Yeah,
in
basically.
Sparring and Taekwondo.
Oh my god, wait, mini story. This is my favourite fit, because you were like, oh, in the entire time I've trained martial arts, I'm a heavyweight, I've got a strong, no one has ever knocked me over. I got him to hold a shield for me just to practice a drill in the gym. First kick, he is down on the exercise ball rack.
I did not expect it to be that strong. I'm just going to throw it out there.
It was like the proudest moment. I love it.
That's
my favourite memory of us.
Yeah. It's not mine. But what did I do? Yeah, so my first ever competition, didn't really get injured. I got punched a few times. That's about it. Second competition, I got winded quite a few times. Third comp, which you saw, I think I took every single punch to the face that was humanly possible.
Guard your head.
Guard your head, guys.
Guard your head. Joe, guard your head.
Bro, I was getting hammered by this human train. Like, the first kick he actually gave me was a good kick. He did a side kick straight into my...
That is the staple Taekwondo move. I call it the fuck off kick.
Yeah, like I was always taught whenever you're in a fight, competition, street fight, whatever it is, You land the first hit and you make it a hard hit, because then they'll always run from you because they know how strong you are. Scare them off. Obviously, he did that to me. I took the kick and it didn't scare me off. But I should have seen the kick. I almost went for the kick, but because I've seen it happen so many times where two guys go for a side kick, one of you will always kick higher.
Yes.
And that other person who kicks lower, their heel is going in your balls. I don't care if you're wearing a groin guard. Your balls are gone.
Is that true?
Genuinely, I've seen it happen so many times. I've done it so many times.
Oh my god.
Like, if you both go for a side kick, and especially if I think he was... So if you're an orthodox fighter and the orthodox and what your right stance?
I don't know what you mean.
Left stance, right stance.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, in Taekwondo, your stance is side on. You have as little surface area as possible.
Yeah, but if you're left foot forward and right foot forward,
okay.
if you're fighting someone who's the opposite, obviously your front legs are always like matching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm very good at the fact that I can fight in both stances. We were always trained to do it.
I do hate when you go to like someone else's club or a seminar or something, and they go pick your favorite leg. Why? What if they hit you and it goes numb? Train both sides.
Yeah, always train both sides. Always get comfortable fighting in both stances. Whatever you're doing, you'll always have one strong.
There are techniques that are more beneficial if you're facing the same direction.
Yeah, but if you're like both kicking, like you do it wrong. Oh yeah, I've seen nuts get lost. Like nutcrackers out there. So yeah, I kind of was like tempted to go for that kick, but I was like, I don't want to. Looking back, I should have just gone sideways. Like,
probably, yeah.
You know, hindsight's 20/20. You know,
good counter to a standard side kick, or really any front leg kick, is a reverse turn or hook kick, because it means your back is now facing where their foot's going, so it's a non-target area for Taekwondo. Other places it's probably a target area. And then also they're a bit confused because they're only halfway through their technique and you've started one.
I would say just don't get hit.
Ideally, but you know.
But you know, that's something I've not lived by because I always get hit. But yeah, so he like, I got like a massive bruise on my floating rib down there. But then, yeah, I think he almost gave me a concussion with one of the punches that he gave me.
Were you a little dizzy?
Yeah, I was a little dizzy. I remember being hit and then looking at the ground like half a second later.
Have you ever had it where the ref takes... Where you're there like, oof, and the ref is like, you're good?
Yeah, that's what it was. The ref like took him to one... Like, so the reason why he hit me so hard and the reason why I took it is because I had just winded him to a new... Like, I thought it kicked him in the balls, I'll be perfectly honest. Like, it was not the greatest kick I've ever thrown. It was not the highest kick I've ever thrown. But it connected just on his lower abs. Thank God it was just above the belt.
Yeah,
but
we're supposed to use belt as the gauge.
Yeah, this man dropped to the floor. I was like, I've just 100% kicked him in the balls.
For men, it's all like, if you get kicked in the balls, it's full match, stop, everyone breathe, have a moment.
Yeah, because
I've been sexually assaulted. I've had women's feet in me, and I just keep going because they don't notice because I don't react.
The thing is, though, for a guy, is like, if you get kicked in the balls, it not only hurt, like, don't get me wrong, it hurts your balls, but all of a sudden, like, you can throw up. You get hit hard enough, you're throwing up.
Okay.
Because, like, your entire stomach just, like, drops. It's horrendous. I
would assume it would go up because you need to make space.
It's like your nervous system just goes, fuck. And, like, it just shuts you down. Like, a good ball kick will just send you to the ground.
Okay.
Yeah, it's...
I don't want to know what it's like, but I do.
No, you don't.
I'm never going to have a child, so I can't compare.
Jesus, no. I've taken too many ball hits. And everything, just trauma. Getting PTSD over it.
Favorite one. A guy he was a blue belt when he was at my club. There's a clip of it somewhere on the internet. I know that for a fact. Maybe on our club's page. But he was winning, and then he went for a back kick, and then the dude got him in the nuts from behind.
Worse. You hit the gooch as well. God save that soldier. Goddamn.
What was it? Bob got a medal that day. He earned it.
But yeah, so no, I'd say competition-wise, I've not had too many injuries. I've seen people lose teeth. While I was a sensei for a little bit, so I've been a sensei before, I did see someone's nose get broken, which we had to put back into place.
Do you just literally grab it?
Yeah, we literally just grabbed it and we were there like... Because the thing is, with a broken nose, if you've ever put one back in place, you'll know. The best time to fix a broken nose is there and then.
Isn't that any dislocation?
It depends if you know how what you're doing.
Okay.
But with a broken nose, it swells. So if you don't put it back in as fast as you can, it's going to swell up. It makes the whole process 10 times worse when they finally get to the hospital.
Ew.
So you basically got to put it in place as best you can and then take them to the hospital.
And everyone says it's never the same.
Yeah, no, it's not. I've been lucky enough that I've never had my nose broken. I don't know how, considering how many times I get punched in the face.
Honestly, and if you get hit in the nose, you're immediately crying. So
Yeah, like...
My nose must be pretty strong.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I've been hit hard enough to cry when I get punched in the face, but...
Because, like, you get punched in the face and it's like that and it hurts, but, like, that is the strongest part of your nose. If you get, like, a kick and you feel it sort of clip the flesh, that's the one where...
Just send your face with it, it's like, fuck.
Yeah, but you gotta go with it, because if you don't, that's the broken nose.
Yeah, that's on the... Like, I remember the one where the guy broke his nose, he was more experienced, he'd been coming for a few months, and we had this new kid come in, I knew him, I can't remember his name, I think he was called Charlie or something like that, but it was his first day, and as I said, the gloves that we used were very thin. However, we didn't always use gloves either. Sometimes we were just white knuckle fighting.
Okay.
And this kid, on his first day, like, he's like 12 years old, probably as tall as I am now, like a good 6 foot. He was just a big boy.
Those kids get judged a little bit.
Yeah, he was pressure. He was like, didn't mean anyone any harm. He was just there to learn how to defend himself. But he just threw this hook and connected with this guy's face and just sent his nose fucking off.
New fighters are more dangerous.
Yeah,
though.
new fighters are more dangerous because you don't know how to control.
No, and they don't know when the line is there.
Yeah.
They just assume you're superhuman.
Yeah, and as I said, we were like no contact with the face. So if we were throwing kicks or punches to the face, we were very controlled with it. So we had, in competition, you had to land it within like 2 inches of the face. Mm-hmm. If you connected with it, it didn't count essentially. So you had to just stay shy.
This is
That's
weird
something
to me.
this is something you learn like over a long period of time on like how to master.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I should shout out one of my worst competition injuries.
Go on, tell me yours.
Okay, I feel you already know, but for the audience, so I was at it was an ITF style competition, sine wave prominent. It was a bad day for my squad because we don't train sine wave. Like, we're an amalgamation of different clubs, but none of the clubs like do sine wave. Which, if you don't know what Taekwondo means, it's basically the theory of going woo woo boom on everything. The idea is you have more time to generate the power, and it's like the reverb or whatever. Like, it helps. But literally, the practicality of that is you're telegraphing your moves a bit more. So, although I understand the science, I disagree with it in terms of benefits gained versus time lost. But we were not winning at the patterns. Even my friends who always win at patterns. I barely win at patterns. But that day, I got a bronze and a silver. And it was the silver where the problem happened. Because I was in the heavyweight division, as you were. I think I had one fight before this, and then it was almost a straight final, because for my weight, grade, age, gender, all that, there's rarely any women at these events. If we amalgamated everyone I've ever fought into one room, we'd have a hell of a division, but it seems like no one's ever there with me. But yeah, so she cared. She was emotional about something, and I don't mind. I love that sort of thing. But she was beating me quite aggressively. Like, I was losing this day. And there was, I was having some emotions about some stuff off the mats, which is not the reason I sucked. She was just a bit better than me. We're going to fully agree with that one. But I was holding my own in that I would not stay down. And when I came...
Always goes a long way.
No, exactly. I came off the mats, and all the feedback I got was, "You're so brave. You were really resilient, you know. You are so dedicated.
Sounds like everyone there was American. In the way you're so brave. You're so dedicated to your sport, man.
One of them was.
We're so proud of you. Wow.
This is just like when I drink. This is bad. I don't know. But no, she was. So this girl, right? She came at me and she just gave me the. Actually, was it a reverse turn? Can I just not block or dodge reverse turning kicks? We found the hack. But no. So
that's how to knock her out. Everyone, write it down.
It was right to the jaw. It's always this side too. I think it's because I'm this way facing dominant, although I do both. I just default to this way. I'm giving you all the ways to beat me now. But it hit so hard and I was in pain. It was bad. I cried a little, but I still did the match. I finished. The ref was like, "Do you want to stop? Shout. Do you need a medic?" Do you
need a medic?
He was looking at me like, "Do you want to... How long do we have on the timer, guys?" He was like, "Time to end now." And I went, "No, I'm finishing the fight." Where was I in the country? I feel like I was southern. It was not an easy one to get to, but it wasn't like the worst. It was a day trip. I didn't have to stay over. But like, I was like, if I'm at the fight, I'm spending my day here. I'm getting a medal anyway. I'm finishing my fight, obviously.
Fair play.
It was just a little south of the Midlands, because I remember my friend drove me from the competition and dumped me at Birmingham New Street train station. So I waited for like a couple hours to get on a train that was the cheapest train. There's a plug in Birmingham New Street that I camp out at all the time because it's normally what they use for the vacuums. But
shout out Birmingham, shout out. New Street station, OGs.
But because I got this plug and it was busy, it was just before Christmas, everything was packed. So I got this plug and I had hours. So I wasn't going to the shop for food. I wasn't going to McDonald's. I wasn't doing anything. I had a little snack in my bag. And when I was on this crowded train, no reservation, I barely managed to get a seat, and I've got my massive sparring bag all the way down the carriage, convinced someone's going to rob it.
There's nothing worse.
No,
Holy
I know.
shit.
I hate it. And I fished into my rucksack to get my sad little protein bar and a sausage roll.
Nice.
Because I'm northern.
Nice.
And I tried to open my mouth, and it was the most searing pain I have ever felt in my life. Couldn't open my mouth, and I was sort of like, because I have a jaw issues chronically my whole life. I had my upper wisdom teeth out by this point, but the lower ones were like becoming a fresh issue now that they had the space for that, and I was due soon to have my lower wisdom teeth out. Like the following week I was supposed to have them out to heal over Christmas, so they were like problems anyway. I had partially dislocated my jaw. It took me about 5 hours to realise. I've been talking to people. Like, the adrenaline was still there. And then I'm there on a train that's going to last me at least 2 hours. It's the last one of the night. I'm not getting off the train.
Yeah, after any fight, check your body. Like, sometimes the adrenaline, you won't realise what injuries you've got.
Yeah, and I was hungry.
Look at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I am eating this. I'm starved. Because I don't eat before a fight. Because I've learned that goes bad for me. So I just, like, if I'm starving, I'll have a single pack of crisps for the salt or something. I was starving that day. It was the end of the night, last train of the night. I'm not getting off the train. There's no way I can find a staff member. It's too crowded. I don't want to lose my seat. So I'm just there trying to not have a panic attack, relocating my jaw. I'm hypermobile, but this was my first dislocation ever. They don't train you for it.
No, they don't.
And if it's your whole mouth, like, it's off. People notice. But it was just the one side. So I was so grossed out. I ate that sausage roll very gingerly.
I bet.
And then I got home to my boyfriend at the time, who's now my ex. I'm flagging that.
What boyfriend at the time means.
Yeah.
Just throw in that.
Yeah. And my flatmate, who's one of my best friends, not my flatmate, his flatmate, who's one of my best friends. And they were just fucking chilling. They had ordered takeaway and hadn't asked me if I wanted any.
Bastards.
I know. I was exhausted. I'd walked home from the train station, which is an hour after that. Long day. I sit down on the floor, sort of sad about myself, like, ugh. And then I have my giant ass medals, the biggest medals I own, by the way. They're huge, like this big. And they go, "So how did the fight go?" And I tell them about it, and then I go, "Yeah, my jaw was dislocated. I had to put it back in myself." No reaction. didn't give a shit. Didn't
Friendship.
ask if I was alright.
Friendship right there.
I don't know if it's because they just assume, well, she's here, she's a badass, she's fine, or if they just didn't realise that in magnitude.
Didn't care.
That was the worst injury I think I've ever had at a competition. It doesn't sound as bad as
That's a rough one.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Leave in the comments yours. I have muted this phone. It's muted.
Leave in the comments your worst injuries.
Please. And we will judge you for your reaction.
Yeah, we'll let you know how bad they are.
Okay. This is the friend.
Oh.
Moving on. We did your grading injuries, your competition injuries.
Street fights.
Street fights.
Now this is where obviously you don't talk about this in the dojo all too much. Is street fighting. Obviously one of the first things you're taught when you get into any martial art is how to get out of fights.
How to avoid
them. How to look out for fights. You know, even now after I've not fought for a good 3-4 years, I will walk into a room and assess how to get out of a room. You sit facing the door, you make sure you have your back against the wall, all this kind of stuff. Which
is a bit of a cliche dude thing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a cliche dude thing, but at the same time, there's a reason why we do it, and it's because if something goes wrong, we have ways out.
I will always be like, if I could kick you from right here, what kick would it be?
Yeah, there's I think as a martial artist, you will instinctively walk into a room and realize who you can fight, who you can't fight. I guess it's not even taught to you. I think it just comes over time.
Yeah.
But the one thing you don't talk about is obviously street fights, because a lot of places are like, we teach you how to get out of fights and how to defend yourself. And street fights are very rarely defending yourself. They are very aggressive things, and people get hurt in them.
And normally it's because you both escalate it.
Yeah, and you both escalate it. Any street fight that you're in, you can usually get out of by putting your pride aside and walking away, unless you or someone you know is in danger. Avoid a street fight. Which brings on to, I think, an important thing, which is you should know how to fight one-on-one. You should know how to fight more than one person at a time. You should know how to fight when you've got someone with you. Now, I always say if someone's with you, there we go. If someone is with you, you need to know how to get them out of a fight. Keep them behind you at all times. Get them to run as fast as they can away from a fight.
Assuming they're an untrained person.
Yeah, and even if they're a trained person, you don't want to be in that fight situation. So always try and get out of it. Usually, if you are fighting more than one person at a time, they're not trained fighters. I would say, because trained fighters always try to avoid fights.
I saw a video that was like 2 competitive fighters start a fight, and then they're both like, oh shit, he's guarding, oh it's a stance, oh he knows, and they just both back away.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think especially if you can fight, if you realize you're fighting someone else who can fight, you do put your pride aside and you're there like, we're gonna hurt each other far too much. I've been in a few situations where I've ended up in fights and I went into them knowing that I'd hurt people, but at the same time I also knew that I would get hurt. And that's something you need to remember, is in street fights, no matter how good you are, you're going to get hurt. Your knuckles going to get busted. You're going to catch a stray punch here and there.
You don't have safety gear.
You don't have safety gear. And nothing prepares you for the first real punch you ever receive.
Have I had that? Maybe.
Well, let's find out. Yeah, nothing will prepare you for the first time you get hit with raw knuckles. Especially on your face. It fucking hurts.
I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's not, it's not pleasant. And actually connecting with another person with your bare knuckles, once again, a very weird feeling. Because whenever we've punched someone, it's always been with gloves on.
Yeah.
As soon as you do it without gloves, one, you've got an extra few centimeters of range that you need to go through to hit them.
I noticed that when I fought a girl who didn't wear a helmet, actually.
Yeah, you will always, whenever you're punching with gloves on, you always put into consideration how thick your gloves are. As soon as you don't have gloves on, first time I did it, I was pulling punches by mistake because I was just so used to having that little bit of extra depth on my punches.
Even when they tell you that you should go through your target, it's like subliminal.
Yeah, and also when you're in a real fight, a lot of your training, especially your first one, goes out the window. Because you are jacked up on adrenaline, 100% jacked up on it. You have a hard time thinking straight. Your only goal is survive and get out of it. Get a few punches in and get out.
Or it should be.
It should be. If you're going out looking for fights,
You're a dickhead.
you're a dick. Like, you are going out looking for trouble. You're putting yourself in danger and other people in danger. And yeah, this goes. So I'm going to shout someone out now. I'm not going to say any names, but my ex-girlfriend would enjoy the idea of me fighting other guys.
Okay.
And would try and get in situations where I would have to fight other guys.
She lost me. She lost me there.
Like
if a man wants to protect you, it is
she
hot,
liked the
but...
idea of like, yeah, that's the thing. She thought the idea of me, fighting to protect her was hot.
You just gotta go sit in the scum of your bar. It'll happen.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean you incite violence.
The thing is though, is I eventually one of the reasons I broke up with it was because like, you're doing this, but all you're doing is you're making me put my life in danger or someone else's.
Yes, oh my god.
And I refused to fight for that. I was there like, I'm not going to get in fights because you find it hot. Because chances, like, we'll go into this in a few minutes, but I've lost people in street fights. So I very much understand the danger of fighting.
Did she know that?
Yeah, she knew that. She
That's
knew.
icky.
Yeah, she knew who it was as well, which we'll go into.
Icky.
But she still pushed for street fights, and like for me to stand up and protect her and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, "You're getting yourself in these situations. You're going to get yourself out of them.
Consequences.
Consequences for your actions. Like, you have to tell that guy to fuck off now. Like, I'll come and tell him to fuck off eventually, but I'm still not fighting him. We'll just leave the club. Like, I'm not.
I'll get the bouncer.
Yeah, I'll get I'll call over the bouncer to get him to leave. I have been kicked out of clubs because I remember once I was out with a different ex who was nothing like that, but some guy was taking photos of her.
Of course.
And we were on a balcony at the time. And I remember finding out this guy was taking photos of her.
Like from across the
street?
street?
From across the bar. Like, was zooming in, taking photos of her.
Okay.
And I was already like a few drinks deep. And I went over to this guy and basically held him over a balcony. And it took like two bouncers to pull me off him. Then de-escalate the situation and then kick me out the bar.
I'm just going to say, that is kind of hot.
But it's, it's just one of those.
I wouldn't ask for it.
Yeah.
I would be upset.
It's happened more than once. It's happened with like a few different ones. Like, it happened with like one ex-girlfriend and another one. But yeah, one of them I was like a lot more civil with. But then the other one, yeah, I lost my shit.
Have you ever had a girlfriend who can also fight?
No, I don't think so. If I have, they've not told me. As I said, I try to avoid fights at all cost. A lot of the street fights that I was in was when I was a lot younger, when I was a lot more testosterone fueled.
I've kind of said to myself that I'm seeking my next partner from the pool of fighters I know.
It's good because obviously it's something you have in common. But yeah.
Main reason why.
Yeah. But yeah, so avoid street fights at all costs. But they do happen, and when they do happen, you can't really talk about them in your dojo.
No. And how did you get into one of them?
All of them were drunk. All drunk situations. One of the, like, all included girls as well. All of them were about girls.
The last guy who told us about his street fight, it was also about a girl.
It usually is, because it's such an ego trip.
He wasn't even with the girls.
No, yeah, I wasn't even with the girls. So one of them, I was dancing in a bar, and some guy came up and slapped her ass. And I basically told him to fuck off. And then this whole thing escalated. Next thing I know, I'm outside with 4 guys.
That's a lot of guys.
It was. And I'm going to say this right now. I lost that fight.
I fucking hope you
I'm
did.
not even saying that I won that fight. There's no point trying to pretend that I did.
Survived that fight.
I survived that fight. Like, I got the shit kicked out of me. Didn't even see the girl again either. It's worth mentioning that. If you ever get in a fight over a girl, that girl does not want to see it. No one wants to see a fight. As I said, we're trained fighters. We don't like seeing public violence. No one does.
Yeah.
If you see violence on the street, chances are you'll feel uncomfortable. You won't get involved.
Apparently I'm weirdly oblivious to it. I'll just I hear enough people kicking off that I'm kind of like, I just walk by.
Yeah, like...
And my friends go, that was a really dangerous situation. I was like, maybe for you.
Yeah, like, I think the thing is we know how to defend ourselves, but
yeah.
Still...
I also know that I am a lot more comfortable getting in people's space than the average person. I'm a very touchy-feely, like, touch is my physical love language anyway, like, that sort of stuff. My words are getting mixed up. This is starting to have an effect. But I also know that when I'm just weaving through crowds to get to the shop, I live in Manchester city centre. I have to dodge to get places on time.
Oh.
So I will very comfortably know I'm going past someone. We will make no physical contact.
Yeah.
They don't know that. They flinch.
Definitely avoid street fights and all this kind of stuff. Especially if you know you're out of your depths. There is nothing wrong with accepting that you're out of your depth. And any street fight, you probably are.
And you will always want help. You should always
You will
want
always
help.
want help. And also, there will always be legal repercussions because someone will get hurt. Like, I've had friends who've been in street fights or fights in bars, and they've been injured, got broken jaws, things like that. There's always legal repercussions.
Everyone likes to tell me. I have no idea if this is true. I really want to ask someone this. Apparently, if you use elbows, you're inherently in the wrong because it's a weapon. And I'm like, how is it more of a weapon than any other part that I could make an attack with?
Yeah, I think if you're in a life or death situation, any body part you can use, that's a body part you can use. And I would say that if you're in a street fight that you can't get out of, you can't talk your way out of, you know, some people will go out looking for fights. Those people do exist, and you won't get out of them. At that point, it's just, I'd view that as life or death.
Yeah.
So
I would argue it doesn't matter what part of your body you're using.
As long as you don't initiate a fight, use your nails, use your elbows, use your knees, use whatever you need to use.
Oh, I did hear this on a Black Belt Barrister video. I don't know if you've heard of him. I mentioned him in another video, actually, always about street fights. But no, he said that you can actually preempt an attack as long as you have reason to believe it genuinely was coming.
Yeah.
So, like, the nuance of the moves you use in a fight don't determine the legal repercussions of it. It's the way the situation unfolds.
Yeah, it's how it starts.
So if you're being a dick, you are the problem.
I was always taught never throw the first punch, throw the last one. That's what I was always taught growing up from senseis, from father figures, everything. Never throw the first punch, but make sure you throw that last one.
That's why people bait you. They do that.
Yeah, they'll bait you so you throw the first punch. And on a legal standpoint, it will always mean you lose. So, yeah, never throw the first punch. If you can walk away, even if you walk away crying on the inside, walk away. No girl wants to see you kill someone or get killed.
So, do you want to talk about...
Yeah, so I'll talk about this one. Obviously, I've grown up fighting. As I grew up fighting, I learned that my biological father was killed in a street fight. He was killed by a friend. It was a fight that happened over a girl. Shock horror. He wasn't involved in the fight. He was trying to break it up, but he took a punch. One punch is all it takes. We've all heard about one punch killers. 9 times out of 10, they're people who don't mean to kill someone, but they do. You take a hit the wrong way, you will die. You can hit your head on the floor, which is what happened, and he smashed his skull open. This happened when I was a child. I don't have memories of him, anything like that. But I grew up fighting and then learned about this when I was about 10, 11 years old.
How did you find out?
So I was told by my adoptive father, essentially.
Okay.
About what happened and how it happened and all this kind of stuff.
Was this in response to something you said?
No, I think it was just, I was against that age where they understood that I had sentience and, you know, I could understand the fact that the person I was living with wasn't my real dad, you know. But yeah, so I grew up, even after, I'd been fighting at that point for a few years. And then to find out that my dad had died in a street fight very much skewed the way that I viewed fighting.
I'm glad they didn't tell you on your first day.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a real self-defense skill.
Yeah, it's a real self-defense skill. I recommend fighting for anyone for discipline reasons, self-defense reasons, fitness reasons, whatever you want to do it for. Find a martial art that you enjoy, or any sport. But martial arts are a good one because it gets self-defense in there.
We're biased, but it's good. Yeah.
But learn it. Learn how to fight, and pray that you never have to use it against someone in a real situation.
You obviously didn't know your dad.
Yeah, I didn't know my dad.
What do you know about his personality?
Personality, from what I know, he was a nice guy. Yeah, he was young. He was 23 years old when he died.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so he was very young.
Yeah,
he's younger. He was younger. I'm older than he ever was. So yeah, it's a rough situation.
I don't really know how to respond to this because obviously you've lived with this information your whole life.
Yeah.
You didn't really know him, but obviously we care.
Also, shout out to everyone. It's about to get deep in here. I put a disclaimer on this before we get into it. It's like, heavy shit's about to begin. Mention of death.
Yeah.
Um,
Where I was thinking is the philosophy behind Taekwondo is you either... There is an inspirational quote from General Choi Hong-hee that I can't remember right now. It might be in a book I have somewhere. But it's like, always go to protect yourself or to protect others.
Yeah.
And it's like the idea of when, what is it? Evil prevails when good men do nothing.
Yeah.
So your dad did something.
Yeah, my dad was trying to stop a fight between two of his friends as well. So he was trying to do the right thing. He could have had all the martial arts experience in the world. One straight punch is all it took. You got to keep that in mind. He wasn't trained, but at the same time, I could have been in that situation. You take a punch that you don't see coming, it doesn't matter how well trained you are.
And like we were saying, beginners are more dangerous. You don't know how to like do it in a
and
safe
there was
place.
alcohol involved. Everything
I'm imagining
like that.
emotions running high.
Yeah, emotions running high, all this kind of stuff.
Was this girl bad, you know?
I think it was just like a girl that they were both trying to see at the same. I don't know what was going on.
If this was a TV drama, then you know that she wouldn't have either of them.
It was just one of those things. It's a very real world situation that happens, you know, and it's something I had to grow up with. But
do you think you learned any life lessons after you learned this about your dad?
Yeah, I learned to control how I was fighting. As I said, it kind of worked, it kind of didn't, because when I got into my 20s, I did get into street fights, you know, and I've thrown punches and I've taken punches. And as I said, I've been in situations where I understand that if I get into a fight, it's two people that could kill each other. And every fight that I went into, I had that understanding as well.
Did you ever have a parallel moment mid-combat?
No, because I don't think I've ever thought about it that deeply. It's one of those, when you're a kid, you think about it a lot. You know, I used to be really upset about the fact that he died and things like that. Nowadays, I'm like, it happened. I've spoken to my mum about it many times, you know, trying to learn about the person that he was. And I imagine that's a very weird situation for her as well. I won't go into, you know, that's my mum's life, not mine. But yeah, I've never really thought about the parallels. But yeah, I think before any fight, I think when I'm sober, I think about it a lot more. I always avoid fights now. Especially now that I'm older than him. That was when I really kind of switched things up and was like...
People say your brain stops developing at 25.
Yeah, something like that.
So, like, you think you hit a wall and sort of hit clarity?
I mean, I hit my wall of clarity at like 22.
Okay.
My last street fight was when I was like 21. I was in university at the time. It was, you know... yeah. And I'm not proud of any of the fights that I've done. You know, I've been injured a lot of times.
You've never once said you won a street fight.
No, never won a street fight.
No one wins a street fight.
You never win a street fight. If you win a street fight, that's because you're a trained fighter and you started it.
And you started it.
Yeah,
not
and you
one
started
or the other.
it. Because in reality, even if you're a trained fighter, you're going to catch a blow at some point. You are. And typically, street fights aren't one-on-one. I will put that out there.
Oh, yeah, no, you'll be up against a wall.
Yeah, if you start street fights, typically they will have friends. You might have friends. That doesn't mean they're going to join in.
And maybe your friends are the friends who fuck off without warning in the middle of a drink.
Like, you know, so, yeah. Always be wary of your surroundings in that case. Always look out for your friends. If your friends are fighting, you know, do the right thing. Try and calm them down, but do it from a distance.
I am suddenly reminded of a news story that came out recently. If I can find it, I'll link it in the description, but I don't remember the name. It was some kid who, well, not kid, teenager, who he was at a competition and he died on the mats. And this isn't exactly the same, obviously not, but I'm led to believe that he had some experience getting into scraps at school. And I don't know if there's any carryover to the mats there. But on the day of his death at this event, it was only one blow that got him.
That's all it takes.
So if you're seeking an argument, a fight, a cure for your small penis syndrome, it's not going to work. Even if you win, you'll leave there not feeling good.
Yeah, I've never once left a fight feeling great about myself. Unless it's been on a mat. Like, competition fights are a different story. Street fights, I've never once left feeling good about myself.
Yeah, there's camaraderie around a structured environment. People are there to support you. If you get injured, it's normally your opponent who will be the first person over at the medic stand pestering the first aider. Like,
I will say, actually, I do remember once, this is can't throw me under the rug here. I do remember once trying to start a street fight.
okay.
I once tried to start one. It was kind of like my friends egging me on a lot. But at the same time, I was young. I think I was like 19.
Small penis syndrome.
Yeah, small penis syndrome. Some guy was throwing chips at us in a chippy. And
what a waste of good food.
yeah, what a waste of good food for a start. But so he started, like, he kind of like started it a tiny bit, but he left the chippy. And then all my friends were there like, Jay, you know how to fight. Are you going to just take that? And I was like, you know what? Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not going to take. I was obviously obliterated and drunk. Went out to try and confront this guy. And credit where credit is due. His friend stepped in and was there like, you're drunk and he's drunk. Neither of you want this to happen. And more so, if this happens, I'm a trained fighter and I will put you on your ass.
But what if
He was sober.
What if he was a fighter too?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, you never know who's a fighter as well. But his friend was a fighter and was there like, you don't want this fight. You don't want to do it. It's not what you like. And at the end, I ended up shaking this guy's hand because I was there like, fair play. You calmed down the situation.
Congratulations on your correct etiquette.
Yeah, thanks for your and in a weird sense, I was like looking for an excuse not to get into a fight. As I said, I don't like the idea of fighting. But yeah.
This is very angel devil on the shoulder.
Yeah, it was very angel devil on the shoulder, but he was very much just like, just walk away from this. Like, you don't want this, I don't want this, he doesn't want this. So I shook his hand at the end of it. But I went back to all of my friends. And even now, when I tell this story from my side, all they say is, some guy threw chips at us, Jay went out and shook his mate's hand. Because they don't understand, like, the other side of it was like...
They didn't see the calculations.
Yeah, they didn't see the calculations. Because I was drunk and just ready to... Like, I was full on testosterone. I think I had, like, a girlfriend at the time. And I was just kind of, like, trying to get everything out.
Have you ever not had a girlfriend?
There was no need for that. Like, yeah, there has been. There has been times.
This man.
Like, bear in mind, I have a girlfriend currently.
He was puking the whole train ride back. I left him alone for 2 stops and messaged him to check he got home all right. He went, sorry, pulled. I was a bit distracted. With this girl who had heard him puking.
I was vomiting so badly in that train. It was so bad. That was the day before we went out for our competition. Like, we'd been out to a club in Manchester. I ended up getting my bank card frozen because they thought it was fraud on the amount of money that I was spending.
Oh yeah, this was after you like failed to pull the bartender.
Yeah, I failed to pull the bartender because I took this shot and proceeded to throw up. It was like a £24 shot. It cost me 24 quid for a single shot. And that was half price. That was with staff discount. And I threw up immediately. Immediately threw up.
It was you rented that booze.
Oh man, I rented that booze. It tasted great both ways, but fuck me, that was rough.
So you'll do stupid shit for women is what I've learned.
Yeah, guys will always do stupid shit for women. Girls, if you're trying to get your guy into fights, you're a dick.
Okay, I'm gonna refill one more time.
Yeah, and we'll...
What's this recording at? All right, this is my last drink. We're gonna close up soon. Don't worry.
Yep.
He is also drinking.
I have got more like a different color alcohol, so you can see that it's different. It's different color. I'm mixing drinks. We're rough in the morning.
I'm not sure if I'm choking or like drowning. So we've done the big serious, right?
Yeah.
What's the most stupid injury you've got? Like, I have a friend who just landed on his leg and he's been out for weeks with his knee. I'm not going to call him out because he's very sad and he's very upset. Bless him. He's also a badass, but I keep telling him he's spending too much time in the air because people will just kick you and there's no way to prevent that force. Yeah. But what's your most stupid injury from training? Shall I start you off with mine?
Go on. I'll try and get some inspiration.
I got 2. I got 2 ones. First one is super simple. it is that I was training with my instructor. We were sparring. It was an accidental solo class because no one else turned up, which is nice sometimes. And we have like sparring shoes. They don't have a bottom on them.
Fucking hate those
so
things.
you're callous. I like them a little bit. I prefer the WT style ones. They're basically like glove socks. But like we have the full padded dipped foamed ones. And they cover the whole of your foot, but the bottom is exposed for traction. And I did a front pushing kick, which is not a common sparring technique because it requires you to square up, whereas we spend most of our time sideways. But my big toe somehow managed to escape from the boot and folded basically. So I don't know if I can even show you like this, my position, but like this toe was practically touching my top of my foot. And I am hypermobile. I am then also flexible. On top of that, diagnosed flexible. This was too far. I have now had, it's either ligament or tendon, I don't know, but I have had an issue with it for about 3 months. I can still feel it. Like, I crack my big toes a lot for some reason. I still feel it. It's so stupid because it wasn't a worthwhile kick. It wasn't a good kick. He punched me in the head right afterwards. I was a pushing kick. He was not pushed away. But that's like the most stupid current one. But then also my big injury that was very stupid. I feel like you still worked at the gym at this time. It was not taekwondo specifically, but kinda. So I'm crazy flexible. I would like do your flexi classes, and there would be people looking at you and then looking at me and being like, "Huh," which is quite a nice ego boost to be fair. But
I love those classes just to show how flexible I actually was.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big guy. You can't see it on screen, I don't think, but I'm like 105 kilos.
He's strong.
And I could do the splits pretty much.
You could. It was really good.
Yeah, I was so close to the splits.
And that's what this relates to. I was doing a very late night training session. It was like 3 a.m. I never trained this late, but that day I did. There was no one around. I literally think I was the only person in the gym. If there was anyone there, they were on the other floor. And I was stretching out after I'd finished, and I was in a split position, a front split, and I was wearing leggings that have what they call the deadlift padding, grip, whatever. It's literally like some rubber pattern on your shins. It has no benefits to deadlifts at all. If anything, it might actually make it harder. Yeah, but that's what they call it. And I was on the stretch mats doing my front split on one side, and this grippy material stuck on the stretch mats. And I can sit there for a little while, but I was trapped. I could not ask for help to be picked up, and like somehow I was just stuck there. Maybe I could have rolled to the side. I didn't think about that.
I would have just flopped backwards.
I didn't think about it. Well, I had one leg in front of me, one behind me, so I was like pinned on this plane. I probably could have like rolled, but I didn't think of it. I didn't think of it at all. So I was there just kind of like trying to jiggle my way out on a full split position. And like you should not stretch quickly. So I was like bouncing, and I felt like a little something, but I didn't really know it. And the next day my leg was fucked. I later learned, after waiting several months for a scan from the NHS, months and months.
Big up NHS.
Like rheumatology, they were not about it. So there was evidence that I had a mild muscle tear in the hamstring, which the treatment for that is rest, let it heal. But the main issue was I had mad ligament damage, which the solution is strength training to build up the padding around it and reinforce it and give it time to heal. But they told me, don't lift anything. Just the GP. The GP was like, I can't check you for the serious stuff, but like, don't do any lifting until you got the all clear, which took months. So I let my whole body rot away. I lost all my gains, which, like, I don't think I've ever still fully recovered. I was in the best fitness of my life when this happened.
I think I remember this happening because you were, like, really struggling with squats after it.
I couldn't squat.
Yeah, I remember this now, actually. Holy shit.
I was upset. Yeah. I was sad. I was depressed. Yeah. So, like, I did nothing. I came to the gym. If you didn't work at that gym and I didn't see you like most days, I don't think I would have done it again. I might have just stayed home and been sad.
That is how we met. We met at the gym.
Yeah,
like, by pure
before
chance.
I was a secret shopper.
Yeah, yeah, I did, didn't I? I thought you were a secret shopper because you asked so many fucking questions.
But now you know me. Are you shocked?
No, but there was so many questions. I was like, Jesus Christ. I went to my manager. I think I just dealt with a secret shopper.
Does no one care that much?
No. Like, the gym we met at cost, what, £10 a month?
I literally only picked it because it was 24 hours. It was a cheap
24
gym.
hours, £10 a month. Oh my, I've got stories to tell you about that in a few minutes as well.
Okay.
I'm going to talk shit about them.
Okay.
So we won't say what the name of the gym is, but I'm going to talk absolute shit on them.
That's fine. But so, I was injured. I couldn't do anything for months. I was depressed. Eventually, I still hadn't seen the scan person. I just started ignoring them. I started building up my strength training again. I felt amazing. I was like, I don't know what's wrong, but I know this is fixing it. So I got back into my strength training. The only time I ever failed a squat was with a bare bar, and I cried and I left immediately. And I am self-confident. It takes a lot.
Been there.
It takes a lot to do that.
Yeah.
I was embarrassed. But I eventually built it back up. And I am working I was very scared of my flexibility training, but I eventually did. And when I felt, oh my God, I'm better. I'm healed. It's been almost 8 months. I'm fine. I did my split stretch. And this time it was the other leg that I did. The exact same.
Did you wear the same pants?
It was not the same pants.
Okay. I was about to say, that would have been...
This was not because I got stuck this time. This was just because I was doing my hamstring stretch and I felt comfortable and suddenly twang. Knocks you a bit ill, doesn't it?
It's grim.
It was, then I did go home and was sad again.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, yeah.
I think the only thing I was doing for that entire time until I built myself back up to strength training was picking a mat and just kicking until my feelings went away. That was all I did. Do you remember that part?
Yeah, a little bit.
What was the outside perspective?
Just... God, she's depressed.
I couldn't walk. You know when you like lift your leg to step up to the pavement when there's no drop curb? That hurt. I was sad. And because Taekwondo wasn't really running at this time because it was post-lockdown. And
yeah, you were kind of like an in-between stage of... Yeah.
Like, my club was sometimes training, but it was like week to week. We didn't know. I couldn't
it was
do
like
anything.
Every 2 or 3 weeks you'd have a training session, if I remember. Yeah.
And my Taekwondo instructor is also a PT and a massage therapist, so he was giving me better medical care than my actual doctors.
Big up massage therapists.
They're great.
I am one of them, but...
Yeah, you had to dig your elbow into my arse.
Yeah, holy shit.
It was... The noises I made caused everyone else concern, but it was the best I'd felt.
I'm going to throw this out there. It was a piriformis, not harassed.
There you go. Muscle.
Yeah.
But...
Just a deep... But if you've ever had your piriformis massaged and it's tight, you know the pain that causes.
I still sometimes have issues because of this. It was the secondary injury. Yeah. The first one healed a bit funny, but that, like, digging into it really helped.
Yeah.
It's the second one that never quite healed.
I'm great at my job. I'm great at being a massage therapist.
All right. Before we wrap it up, tell us about this gym.
So, obviously, I travel a lot for work. Won't go into what I do, but... I'm only in the UK for 3 days at the moment, so we've been quite lucky to sneak in on here. However, the other day I was in hometown, going to the local gym. Okay, it's like when I worked there, it was £12 a month, 24-hour access. Okay, and I knew the manager, so I knock on the door. I buzz the bell. The new manager comes out, as it turns out, and they're like, "Hey, is such and such in?" And he was like, "No," and I was like, "Oh, is he gone? What's going on?" Like, oh yeah, he's left. I was like, "Oh, okay." He was like, "Well, how can I help?" I was like, what? And I saw like an old friend I waited to. I was like, "Sorry, yeah, I used to work here, like back in the day, and I traveled a lot for work, but I obviously used to work here. I used to be a PT for you guys. Can I come in for the day and just get a quick training session done? I'm literally here for like half an hour, 45 minutes.
No membership will be sold.
No membership will be sold. Like, I'm not trying to buy a month pass, anything like that. This guy just goes, nah, mate, no one comes in without getting a day pass first. And I went to, like, and in my head, I just went, what a cunt.
They don't even really get paid.
Yeah,
though.
you don't get paid enough to be a cunt. Don't even flatter yourself. Like, you're not that big of a deal. Why are you trying to be like this? Like, I get I'm asking for a favour, but at the same time, it's 30 minutes in a fucking gym. I'm a personal trainer. I'm not going to fucking do something that I know I can't do.
Was it peak hours? Was it
No,
busy?
it was like 10 o'clock in the morning as well. It was
No
dead.
one's there.
Dead in there. Like, and typically what used to happen was I'd text a mate, they'd open the door.
Too much. Spilled.
So I'm there like, all right, how much is it going to cost to get into this club? Bearing in mind, you've been to this gym, it's shit.
Yeah, they got like one new squat rack since I changed membership.
Right, it's cheap. If you're from the UK, you will know which gym I'm on about when I said it's $12.99 per month. Right, you know which gym I'm on about.
I hold stock in this organization.
Do you hold stock in it?
The first time when I opened my Training 2 and 2 account, I put £1 into it because I still attended the gym. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. The next week they did a rebrand. I've never recovered.
Honestly, so bad. But I was like, right, how much is a day pass? You know, I'll get a day pass then. He was like, bear in mind, $12.99 for the month. So it's 10 quid for a day pass. I looked this man in the eyes and just went, you're taking the piss. I'm not paying 10 quid for this shit gym. I just walked away. I was like, I'm not even going to fucking pretend to be polite with you.
Well, he wasn't polite with you.
Yeah, I'm there like, if you're going to be a cunt, I'm going to be a cunt back. Like, I really don't care.
I dare you to go back with your friend.
I know, yeah, I might just go back and like, just get sneaked in.
Guest pass.
But, yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Like, this gym is not good enough to charge £10 a day.
How much did you pay for the gym you actually went to that day?
Free of charge. I went to another gym I used to work at, spoke to a manager who me and her didn't get on all too well when I worked there.
But she knew the code.
But I chatted to her and then she was like, let me guess, you're here to work out. I was like, listen, if higher ups are on your back and you need me to buy a day pass, bear in mind, this day pass would have cost me more. Like
but
twice as much.
Gym, though.
Nicer gym. So like, if you need me to buy a day pass, I'm not going to argue, I will buy one. And she was like, don't be ridiculous. I'll open that gate for you. And I was like, you're a star.
This man's got into gyms that he didn't work at for free.
Yeah, I've also gone to gyms and been there like, hey, I used to be a personal trainer here. And they've just let me in and not questioned it. Every now and then, if you have the confidence to be like, hey, I used to work here, you can sometimes get free shit.
If you have the confidence, you can get free shit anywhere.
But another time they did check it. They went into their system and found out that I was an ex-employee. Like, I was like, I still work for you guys. It turns out I'd quit like 2 months beforehand. She's like, why did you lie to me? And I was like, I'm just trying to try my luck. I'll be totally honest with you. And she was like,
I didn't know if you purged the system.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what, like, I don't know why I lied. I'm really sorry that I lied. And she's like, don't lie next time. Just fucking tell me you used to work here. And I was like, sick.
Don't lie.
Yeah, don't lie next time. Just be honest. I was like, that was a real turning point in my life. I was like, shit, I shouldn't lie as much.
But also, if you're confident, you can lie.
Know when to lie. Know when to lie and know when to tell the truth.
That's an adult skill.
Yeah. It's a skill you learn as you grow up. Only lie to get out of trouble.
Okay.
Only lie to get into trouble. Tell the truth to get out of it.
On that note, I feel like we should wrap things up.
Yeah, I feel like we've covered a lot.
Is there anything you want to say before we stop?
You will, if you're into martial arts, if you're trying to get into martial arts, you will inevitably get injured. You will get injured in every single sport that you do.
You need to know where your resources are for recovery information.
Yep. There is nothing wrong with Googling and YouTubing how to do instant fixes on yourself, but also realize when you do need medical intervention. Don't get into street fights. Avoid fighting on the streets at all costs. It's never worth it. No one wins. You know, people will lose their lives. And we've seen it happen. I'm one of the effects of that. So, yeah. Just be careful out there. Always be aware of your surroundings. And, yeah, just, you know, look out for yourself and look out for other people as well.
I really don't think I could have said it better, especially because I am not sober now.
Yeah. Just be kind to everyone you meet. Like,
That's a golden rule.
Yeah, everyone's going through shit. if you're going through shit, everyone else is as well. Like,
You
don't
don't
be
even
a...
realize the friends you're making until later on.
Yeah, like, you know, you will make friends with people wherever you go, but you've got to try and make friends first. You can make enemies just as easily, I reckon.
And the people who don't like you normally decide they don't like you based off something you didn't consciously do, so don't bother trying.
Yeah. Not everyone's going to like you. There's nothing wrong with that.
Is there anything you would like to plug?
Hit up my Instagram, J Collier Training. You'll get to see all of my travels, what I do for work.
Yeah, he doesn't train anymore.
I don't train anymore. I'm not a personal trainer or a sports massage therapist anymore. However, I do travel the world, and that is my job, which is really weird to say, actually. Holy shit,
does
that
post
felt
his
really weird.
gains a lot.
Yeah, I post my gains quite a bit. If you want to see the gains, feel free to give me a follow over there. Alternatively, hit up my TikTok for different content completely. Just be aware of that.
Content.
Some spicy content on there.
My vision of you changed that day.
Yeah, that's
It was while I was working out as well. You were like, "Oh, this is my TikTok," and I was just like,
what the fuck?
I was not getting off that machine for a while.
So that's j.son, JAY.SON _ or .exe.
If you know my other channel, DebbersDo, which is linked on my channel, the website for that contains a series of images that you may enjoy. Available for purchase.
Yeah. If you go on there, it's all fashion related, but just be aware that, you know, it's
skills.
It's still TikTok. It's family friendly, technically, so it's okay.
But yes, follow him.
Yeah, give me a follow on those guys. Like,
make sure you subscribe here. If you would like to tell your story on With Respect, then fill out the form in the description below.
It's good fun.
You can be anonymous if you want to, or if you don't, then you can... I've got hiccups now. Then you can promote anything you want at the end. I'm not picky about that. Just make sure that you tell us the juicy stuff.
Here's my OnlyFans as well.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe. Goodbye.